Hello and welcome to All My Friends Are Right Here. I'm your host Vince, and we've got Michael,
Hey!
and we've got Kia.
Gabagoo.
Oh,
You probably already saw from the episode description that we are doing a good old fashioned movie draft today, a New York movie draft. Because a lot of us live in New York. Me not specifically, but Kia and Michael do, as well as Sam.
Yeah, what is this us business? Come on. It
One
ain't
of
you.
yous guys. I'm sorry. Yous guys lives in New York's, along with Sam's and Scott's used to live there, and I just kind of visited about a month ago. So it
what are
was
y'all talking?
that's my New York accent, right?
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, you sound just like Fran Drescher.
Oh, Mr. Sheffield.
I went to college with her cousin. Fun
Oh,
fact.
really?
Yeah.
The flashing
Anyway.
girl from Flushing, the nanny named Fran. So, anyways, I've been in New York now enough times that I started thinking about like my entire like perception on New York up until the first time I ever went in the year 2000. In the year 2000 was perspectives primarily based on film. And so I was talking in the film Kia with your girlfriend Shay, and she just kind of laughed at me like because she's lived her whole life in New York, and just like my ideas of New York don't clash with what like actually New York was like. So I found that interesting. So we're doing a good old fashioned movie draft, and we're going to be covering several different movies about New York today, and actually a TV show. We're going to be doing romantic movies, dramas, or we'll see where that takes us, action movies, kids movies, TV shows, and then a wild card of anything else you just want to put on the list. So we're just going to start with this movie draft, unless you guys have anything else to say about New York.
No, let's do it.
All right, we're going to go in alphabetical order and then snake back and forth. So, Kia, you're first on the board with romantic movies.
All right, so I automatically just kind of think of romantic comedies for this category because, I don't know, I guess there's other romance movies that I don't care about, but I was mainly just looking at romantic comedies. And yeah, there's like the big classics. I'm sure one of you guys will probably mention one of them. I don't know. It's all right. For me, I just picked the one that kind of was one of my earliest childhood memories, like one of the earliest romantic comedies that I remembered seeing. And I kind of forgot for a while that it counts as a New York movie, but I'm going to choose Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. I fucking love that
Oh,
movie.
shit.
Yeah.
As a romantic,
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
think of that as a romantic comedy.
Oh, absolutely. It's 100% a romantic comedy.
No, it
And you've
totally
got-
is. But I just think of
yeah.
it as like, I just think of it as like Eddie Murphy comedy movie. I never think of it. I didn't even consider that as a qualifier for this.
hmm It's one of my favorites with the Jerry curl and everything. Yeah. I think it sort of brought it, like, you know, he's from this African kingdom and he's coming to America. Oh, that's the name of the movie. Duh. And so it's like a good way to see New York City through the eyes of this new person who's like just discovering everything. And so yeah, I really enjoy that perspective.
Yeah, and it's like peak Eddie Murphy too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and is Arsenio in that one too?
He is. He's like his little brother or his right hand man or something like that. I remember
His right hand
they keep
man.
trying to his right hand man. What did I say?
Got it.
No.
I thought you said right hand band. I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah. He plays. No, he doesn't. Yeah, in the movie, I remember that Eddie Murphy, like they're trying to set him up with some princess who's smoking hot, but he doesn't want to have an arranged marriage. He wants to come find an American woman, and I just remember that Arsenio ends up with the pretty princess at the end, and he was very happy about that. Like I just can't not get Arsenio's face out of my mind. Good stuff. I'm looking through all these lists of movies makes me realize, oh geez, I haven't watched this movie in forever. So maybe it doesn't hold up, but to a 5-year-old, it was pretty damn great.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That holds up.
Yeah. So, Michael, we're going to go on to you for your pick for romantic movies.
Okay. So like Kia, I'm not gonna go with any of these. Like, there's some obvious, really huge classics. But for some reason, I have an extreme soft spot for the movie Serendipity.
Oh yeah,
I don't
a
know
good movie.
why. I don't even think I saw it like on like a date or anything in high school. I do remember leaving the movie theater and walking over to the Barnes and Noble and uh, writing somebody like writing somebody's name, whoever I was with, in the front page of a copy of Love in the Time of Death and Cholera or whatever it's called. But I just really like that movie. It's so sweet. And it, and it's just like and it's a really, really great showcase of New York because it is literally them running from location to location of New York trying to like chase each other down. And I don't know. That's a movie I really enjoy.
I think I've only seen it once, but I certainly remember enjoying it.
Is that Kate Beckinsale and John Cusack?
Yeah. And terrific it's like really, really top-notch Jeremy Piven best friend John Cusack role. Like he's always really good in those, but in this one in particular, he gets so swept up in like the adventure of it. And whenever, John Cusack eventually is like gonna be like, "Oh, what am I doing? This is crazy." And he gives him the whole like, "This is fucking incredible. Like, what are you doing?" Everybody's just great in it. I really like Serendipity, guys. Good movie.
It is a good movie.
Vince,
I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh,
I think
man.
I confused it with Must Love Dogs in my head because they both kind of have like a green smeary cover.
Do you not know what that is?
Must Love Dogs has Diane Lane
that
and maybe
one.
John Cusack?
It sounds like a John Cusack movie. I don't know. But no, Serendipity is great. Serendipity is a good like date night movie for sure. Yeah, it's very sweet. Can't go wrong.
Oh man, I just decided to maybe change my pick here. But I don't know. Does Down with Love take place in New York?
Man. Which one's Down with Love?
That's the Ewan McGregor Renee Zellweger movie.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
I don't know if it actually takes. Oh, it takes place in early 1960s New York City. It's a great movie. I would recommend that one. But I'm actually gonna go with.
But it's not your pick.
It's not my pick. My heart always lies with You've Got Mail. I was donating blood recently, and You've Got Mail was on when I started donating blood at a blood drive, and I was. It's a very pleasant movie. I just love You've Got Mail. Meg Ryan's a little meh in it, but Dave Chappelle is really good in it, as is Greg Kinnear. It's got some interesting casting choices. It's got did you ever watch Bored to Death? Zach Galifianakis' wife or longtime girlfriend is Meg Ryan's best friend in that movie, which I remember spending all of Bored to Death trying to place where I knew her from, and it's You've Got Mail. Finally figured that one out. But Tom Hanks is pleasant. America's Dad. There's weird diversions though in You've Got Mail that's just kind of got like the when I was watching it, I'm like, all this extra stuff with like his family and like his dad remarrying like someone super young, so he's got a brother that's like 5 years old is really weird to me. But other than that, You've Got Mail is a really good movie, and as it goes into its third act, is really, really pleasant. And I like it more than Sleepless in Seattle, which is also a New York movie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Aren't they both New York movies?
Yeah, because I was like Sleepless in Seattle, but that's not a New York movie. That's a Seattle movie. And then I remember it ends at the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
I don't like that movie because it's about bookstores closing, and that's all I'm gonna say on that matter. A little close to home. No, I'm kidding. It's fine. It's pretty nice.
It's actually a movie about your bookstore closing other people's bookstores, and then your bookstore eventually closing 10 years later.
Right. Oh, that's accurate.
So Fox Books is definitely closed. It is not in Midtown Manhattan.
What a weird name for a bookstore too. Like that's just like, I don't know. Maybe Fox News wasn't as big of a thing back then, but
well, because his name was Fox.
I know that. It's still weird. Like that's a dumb name for a bookstore.
I really don't like the plot device where people's companies are named after themselves. I know it happens a lot in comic books just because it's easier to know, like Bruce Wayne Industries and Tony Stark Industries. Like, come up with a better name. I mean, like, I'm not saying Alphabet's a good company name or Google is, but, show a little more effort that we care about something other than just Fox Books.
Yeah, Google's never going to catch on.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
Well, now they're called well, they're not called. Their parent company's called Alphabet, which is also similarly lame. But that's neither here nor there.
I didn't realize that. I thought you were talking about the cereal.
I was listening to I was listening to a 538 podcast today, and we were talking about donors to political campaigns, and they go, Eric Schmidt of Alphabet, and I'm like, fuck that, he's Google. Don't tell me he's from Alphabet. So Alphabet. Sorry, my Texan's coming through. But we're gonna go on to drama movies, which is also now snaking back to me, and I'm gonna pick one that Man, why am I picking? Okay, I'm gonna pick Vanilla Sky because I can't help but think of New York City when that movie happened, and more of it's more interesting because they like closed all of Times Square to actually film sequences there, so they didn't use like sets, and I think it's very interesting and very like you can't really close New York City down that often. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. No. Were you guys? Did they close anything for Fast and Furious 8? In New York City when they were filming that?
Maybe.
I mean, probably.
I don't know how you film car chases in that city.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how you.
I mean, there's probably a couple of scenes of like them zooming down a street, but I mean, you can't film a chase in New York. That's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not an actual. I mean, obviously, it's all cut together and the quick cuts and stuff. But
the cars aren't getting over 20 miles an hour. No, I know when Spectre they were driving through like cobblestone, like old Italian cities, the most recent James Bond movie, and you could clearly tell that it was like sped up. Because like, there's no way they're running, these Lamborghinis and Aston Martins more than 20 miles an hour through these cobblestone streets.
Yeah. Well, it's like in New York, you're just, you're gonna hit somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how shut down it is. You're going to hit somebody if you're going 30 miles an hour, like chasing another car. It's just how it works.
Which I think that's what they plan on. So they just film everything, and whenever they hit somebody, they use it in the movie. And that makes a lot of money.
I wonder if... I didn't realize that they did that. I've never seen Vanilla Sky, so I didn't know that they shut down...
Yeah, they shut down all of Times Square for I think 8 minutes. So they only had 8 minutes to do the entire sequence. But it's Tom Cruise...
Yeah.
Having a dream sequence walking through all of an abandoned Times Square, which is very weird and unsettling.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, same with what's the
28 Days Later
Smith one? No, with the vampires, but they're not really vampires.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. That's the one. Yeah, I always remember him throughout New York as well. Yeah. That was another really good one.
Yeah, you have to have those kind of stars, those huge mega stars to be able to try to pull any of that off.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Like some indie film isn't going to be able to shut down Times Square.
Well, and that's the interesting. I said 28 Days Later. They did that with London, where they would give them because Cillian Murphy's wandering through the city, and it's empty, and he would give them I think they had 90 seconds or something per setup of him walking through. And so what they would do is they would just set up 30 cameras or something like that. They had so many things trained so they could get every conceivable angle because they literally had 90 seconds per setup.
Wow.
It's pretty nice. Anyway, that's a London movie.
Yeah, so back to Vanilla Sky, though. I don't remember really liking this movie that much, though. I mean, I remember that scene being pretty cool, but I think at this point, this is when I was getting tired of Tom Cruise, maybe.
Yeah, see, I kind of agree with you. I don't love Vanilla Sky. I liked the director Cameron Crowe's predecessing film, whatever, I can't come up with the word. Previous film, Almost Famous. I loved that movie. And I was kind of high on Tom Cruise after Minority Report, so I'm like, this is going to be, pretty exciting. And it was kind of an underwhelming movie, I think. It's got some interesting ideas. I think Waking Life does better with the concept of lucid dreaming and that kind of concept than Vanilla Sky does. But visually, it's a really, really cool movie. So, and it showcases New York in ways that you haven't seen before. So. That I enjoy it. But I definitely got off the Cameron Crowe bandwagon after Vanilla Sky, with Elizabethtown and We Bought a Zoo. I was just kind of I was done with him. It was Say Anything, another John Cusack movie, shout out. And then Almost Famous and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, loved those movies. And then Vanilla Sky is kind of where I fell off. But I don't know. I think it's probably in that mid-level. I don't know if it's worth revisiting at all, but it is an interesting movie.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So, Michael, we're going to go to you.
So, the drama category. So, obviously, again, there's so many freaking amazing movies set in New York. that we're just going to be skipping over a lot of them, and I imagine we'll come back and touch on some of them later.
Yeah,
But the
and
drama
if you
category-
wanna send anything to us and tell us where we're wrong, you can do that on facebook.com/allmyfriendsareRightHere or allmyfriendsareRightHere.com, or just send a mean tweet to us at We're Right Here.
Yeah, preferably a mean tweet.
And I want
so
you
the
to mean
drama
it.
category. The drama category for me is really just like the gangster category. Kia, I know you said you're not really a fan of gangster movies.
I'm not. Yeah, we had like a gangster category, and I was like, really? Like, I don't wanna. Yeah. So I'm glad we wrapped it into the dramas. But
Yeah.
I totally get it. It is pretty like quintessential New York. Yeah.
Yeah, and I myself am a big fan of many gangster movies. Now, there's obviously one way to go here, and this is a debate that goes back and forth. But I'm actually, instead of going with The Godfather, gonna go with Goodfellas.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. Over the past few years, I have found myself swinging more and more towards Goodfellas than either of the Godfathers, and I don't really know why. I just
Goodfellas is more fun.
It's so fucking good, and it is fun, and it's like the weird narration, and there's so much that happens, and somebody recently said to me, they're like, there's no way that Ray Liotta can be that good at being coked up for the last half hour of that movie if he's not just that coked up filming that movie.
It really made like the rest of Ray Liotta's career, because you get excited when you see Ray Liotta in movies, then you're like, oh yeah, Ray Liotta's not really good except in Goodfellas, and like a few other things, like kind of he's like mediocre, but goddamn, Goodfellas is like a great film.
Oh, and he is terrific in it, and you really do. You're exactly right, Vince. You really do. Anytime you see Ray Liotta in anything, you're like, man, Ray Liotta. But that guy's only made like 9 good movies. He's made like one great one, and like I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 good ones, and the rest just suck.
Yeah.
Like he's good in Blow. He's fine in like Rounders.
And he's fine
that.
like in Heartbreakers with Sigourney Weaver and Jennifer Love Hewitt, but whatever.
Yeah, but just because of Goodfellas, you're like, fuck yeah, Ray Liotta's in this, I'm in.
Pesci's great in it.
Also, Lorraine Bracco is amazing in it.
Lorraine.
And it's also just the cast of The Sopranos.
Yeah, it's got Michael Imperioli in it too.
Oh my God, it has Michael Imperioli. It's got well, now I'm blanking on all of their names, obviously, but like literally, if you just, Lorraine Bracco, which you already mentioned, but when you watch Goodfellas, having recently watched The Sopranos, you're just like, oh, there's Paulie, there's so and so, there's everybody is all throughout that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to take this time to mention maybe my favorite bit of New York City mobster, TV movies, whatever, and that would be Good Feathers from Animaniacs. I love those damn birds. They taught me everything that I need to know about New York City, and so I wanted to make sure to give them a quick shout out.
Was it called Good Feathers, or was it called?
It was Good Feathers.
Yeah.
They also did a West Side Story parody on an episode. I think I was telling you about that, Michael, where it was very nice. You're just basically watching West Side Story, but it's with the Good Feathers pigeons, which makes no sense, but it worked well.
I know that Pinky and the Brain did a whole Third Man episode also.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. I know that one.
Yeah.
West Side, by the way, was my number 2 after Serendipity for my romantic movie category.
Well, maybe tomorrow. No, that's a different. Annie, what am I thinking of? What song am I thinking of? Tonight. That's the song from West Side Story, right?
Also, I guess it could come up in the wild card later, so maybe we should not throw all these things around.
Yeah. But okay. Goodfellas is great. I don't mean to disparage Godfather, but Godfather's a really fucking great movie. But I think Goodfellas I go back to more because it's just more fun. It's like the characters.
I bet if you did like a breakdown, it's very easy to come up with The Godfather being a better movie than Goodfellas. I think Goodfellas is just a little bit more rewatchable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody saying shit about The Godfather right now. That's stone cold fucking like one of the 2 or 3 best movies ever made.
So how do you feel about Departed versus Goodfellas?
I don't understand the question.
Oh, I feel like Departed is the best Scorsese movie since Goodfellas. And I kind of go back and forth on which one I find more fun, Departed or Goodfellas. But I think you're not.
Oh, I mean, I like The Departed. I enjoyed The Departed. But I don't think it's like, I would not put it near Goodfellas.
Okay.
Like I would not put those on the same tier.
All right. Well, Keo, you're wrapping up drama movies, not gangster movies.
Ooh,
What do you got?
I was actually kind of worried. I thought one of y'all might steal this, but it might be the most recent movie. Definitely the most recent one we've talked about yet. Could end up being the most recent one total. I am choosing Birdman. Really love that movie, and I think it's does a really great job of kind of showing the New York theater scene, and has those nice big sweeping shots where he goes out to Times Square. Plus, it's just a great movie. So yeah, Birdman. That's my choice.
I went into a bar the other day, and it was like on a TV. But this place just puts like a DVD on, doesn't play the sound or anything, and it was on. And I sat there for like half an hour, just be like, God, I like this movie. It's so good.
I did the same thing.
It was
with
a little overhyped, but it kind of deserved it.
Oh, I went into the theater having heard how great it was, and then came out of it having enjoyed it more than I anticipated.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I was about to say, I was at a bar where I was waiting in line for like way too long to order my drink, but the Fast and the Furious was on, the first one, when Paul Walker calls and reveals that he's a cop.
Hell yeah.
And I actually missed my opportunity to order because I was like, I fucking love this movie. Oh
wait, you said it's when he tells Vin Diesel at the end that he's a cop?
Yeah, like when the guy's like injured and he's like calling in like a chopper to come save them. And Vin Diesel's just like silent. Yeah.
And he gives him the keys.
Yeah.
The Fast and Furious is so great.
I was just like, if Birdman is a similar like bar silent movie where you're just like, I love this movie. Like
no, not at all. Like those don't. I don't know why a bar would have Birdman on in the background, because it doesn't make any. Like you can't watch it unless you've already seen it and know it. At
this particular bar, the bar back is like a pretty big film buff, and so he put the Seventh Seal on the other day. It's like that kind of thing. So
yeah, that's just being pretentious. I disagree with everything about it.
It's pretty fun though.
Did you sit there and watch The Seventh Seal? No, you did not. Come on.
No, you bet your ass I did.
Did you play chess against
Phil Smithback and I sat there and watched The Seventh Seal for like an hour and a half.
All right.
We did not play chess with death though.
All right, Kia, it's to you now for action movies.
Oh, okay. New category. Great. So, my first instinct was maybe pick a superhero movie, but I'm like, nah, everyone knows all those. I want to pick something that's like, maybe a little bit more important to New York City. And so I came up with Leon the Professional. I kind of had forgotten that takes place in New York, but it's in Little Italy with the hitman. What's that?
Jean Reno.
Thank you. And also our first movie role for little Natalie Portman. And yeah, just a solid movie all around. Plus Gary Oldman as the villain. Come on, you can't go wrong with that. One of the best movies, one of my favorite action movies ever, I would say. So yeah, I definitely gotta go with Leon the Professional. That's another one that I'm due for a rewatch of.
Yeah, that's a good one. Do not read the original script of that though. That's got some fucked up pedophile shit in it. But
Oh yeah, I remember kind of hearing about that.
Yeah.
I actually just watched that movie for the first time. Maybe about 5-6 months ago, and was like, "Yeah, I get it. This is really great."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I remember wondering like why Jean Reno was like in the first Mission Impossible and like that Godzilla remake, and I'm like, why do we keep putting him in movies? And then I saw The Professional, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. Why we're like, we need to put him in more movies. Is that movie in French or in English?
It's in English.
It's in English, okay. Because it's Luc Besson, director of The Fifth Element. And
word?
Yeah, he directed The Fifth Element.
Isn't The Fifth Element also in New York City, but in the future?
It might be. I don't know where multi-passes are, but it might be.
Well, we should have a future category. That's all right.
part of it would be in New York City, but most of it's in Foster's Paradise.
Oh, that's true. It's on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
but
is
you
also,
know,
I should say, a caveat I made for most of these movie choices. That there's a lot of movies that like start or finish in New York that I disqualified, and I pretty much went only with movies that take place all in New York.
yeah, that's fair. Because like I feel like Sleepless in Seattle was kind of like on the border there because they don't make it till New York till the final act. So
Yeah.
Do they ever go to another city?
Seattle, and I don't know where Meg Ryan lives in that movie.
I was trying to tell a joke.
Oh.
At the end.
Sorry, I answered you legitimately. Michael, it's to you for action movies.
All right. So a lot of different ways to go here. I'm going to go more classic on this one because even though it's a stone cold classic, I feel like people kind of forget about it, and they shouldn't. And that's The French Connection.
Ah.
Does that actually take place?
Yeah, it takes place in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they're busting a heroin deal and all that kind of stuff. It's an amazing Gene Hackman performance, and Roy Schneider's in it, and it is just amazing. And it's the whole drug bust. You get all that kind of stuff. You get chases in it. You get a lot of street chases, which is really great. Like a lot of on foot street chases, which you don't get as much of anymore. And it's like it's like a quiet drama that is also got these tremendous action scenes. I just love The French Connection. Everybody should see it.
Yeah, I think we messed up because the one time I saw it, we tried to have like a party where we watch The French Connection.
We all watched it at my house, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I was. Yeah, and
that
didn't
fell
go
apart
well
like
because
instantly.
Nobody was in the right mood for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys should all go back and watch it again. It's really, really good.
Popeye Doyle.
I think it was the first R-rated movie to win Best Picture.
Really?
But that would have been after Midnight Cowboy was nominated as an X-rated movie.
Yes.
Midnight Cowboy win?
I believe it did. It's also a New York movie.
It is also a New York movie, and on my list.
Oh, really?
Not for action.
For kids movie?
It's a very different kind of action.
It's a movie about making kids, right? Am I right?
Yeah. It's about cowboys.
I get Urban Cowboy and Midnight Cowboy confused. So.
Ooh, those are very different movies.
I think it's easy to get those titles mixed up, though.
Yeah.
And Space Cowboys.
And Drugstore Cowboy.
Yeah.
And Cowboys and Aliens.
Drugstore Cowboy is actually much more like Midnight Cowboy than Urban Cowboy is.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fun fact.
It's to me. French Connection is a good pick. I'm gonna go a little more fun here. I'm gonna pick the first Men in Black.
I thought about it. That was number 2 on my list. Vince.
Yeah, I had a different action movie, which is Sam says is his favorite action movie of all time, which takes place in New York City. But we'll save that for the end. So please do stick around to the end. But I really like the first Men in Black. It's just a fun, pleasant, breezy movie. Will Smith's fun in it. Tommy Lee Jones is a great straight man. I feel like the second one fell apart because it spent like 30 minutes undoing the ending of the first one. And then I didn't even see the third one. But I really, really like this first movie.
I'm like 95% sure that Men in Black is still Will Smith's highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, I would bet it would be.
I think it has like a 97% or something on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Something just absolutely ridiculous.
I believe it. I'm trying to think of like his other movies that like, I know a lot of people really like Hitch, but and Independence Day.
But I don't think it's universally loved.
Yeah, I don't either. And same with like Hancock and anything.
Men in Black was also, that movie was a phenomenon. Will had gotten so goddamn big when that movie was coming out. I remember when I went to see it, I went with my family, and as like they were getting ready to not open the theaters, they were getting ready to show the film. Ushers in the theater came out in front of the screen and put on glasses and did the Men in Black song.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why, but this happened. They performed like a verse and a chorus or something, or maybe just the chorus of Men in Black, the Will Smith song, and they like pumped in the audio through the theater, and then they were like, enjoy the movie, and we watched Men in Black.
That's a good way to hype people up, I guess. I don't know.
It was great. I remember it to this day.
I love that.
Cool. Who am I to argue with that?
My favorite, like, ephemera moment around Men in Black 1 was the TV spot that came out 2 weeks after it opened. Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but it was Will Smith it came out and he goes, "Thank you for making us the #1 movie in America 2 weeks in a row. Now please look here." And then he flashy thinged everybody and he goes, "Hey, Men in Black's a really good movie. You should go see it." And I thought that was like the funniest TV spot to just like, we're gonna make everybody forget that they ever saw Men in Black, so they'll go see it again. And then me and my dad were like, "That was a pleasant movie. We should go see that again." And then we did.
It was. For the record, it is his highest rated movie on Rotten Tomatoes at 92%.
Nice. I am psyched for the Men in Black 23 Jump Street crossover, by the way. That's going to be fucking baller time.
Oh, that is brilliant. It's either going to be brilliant or terrible, but I'm going to probably enjoy it either way.
Rip Torn, Ice Cube is going to play the Rip Torn role, and it will be amazing. That's all I have to say. It's going to be... I just want to see them like yelling at a Tony Shalhoub and a pug, and it'll be a funny movie. I'm on board. So is it to me now again? For kids movies?
Yeah, we're snaking. What? Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm going to go to the movie that like pretty much informed my entire view and fears of New York City from the very beginning. I'm going to go with the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
really had that one on my list.
It is surprisingly still really, really a good movie. Like, I think the second one was more fun for like a 7-year-old when it came out. It's more like, like fighting and stuff, and less like everybody like thinking like, should I be a ninja? But like as like a straight up film, like the first movie is like actually a pretty decent film that holds up today, which is weird. It's a better movie than it needs to be for something that was rushed so quickly.
For something that was just basically based on a cartoon that was based on selling action figures?
Well, it was a cartoon based on selling action figures that was based on a comic book that was making fun of the X-Men and Daredevil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but like, I don't think the Ninja Turtles comic, when did that come out, Kia? Probably like 83, 84?
Yeah, mid-80s or so.
As like an indie comic.
It was never that big. Yeah.
As a comic, it turned in the span of like 5 or 6 years, it turned from like a comic, a black and white, like self-printed comic into a cartoon, a huge cartoon, and huge movie. I don't know how that series did that quickly. I really liked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1.
Yeah, that is interesting to think about.
I don't know how quick. I can't imagine how quickly that happened. And then there's a super young Sam Rockwell as one of the foot soldiers with the heart of gold in that movie, which I really enjoy.
Yeah. But it's really clearly Sam Rockwell too. Like he's that dude. Sam Rockwell looked the way he was going to look when he was like 13.
He sure did. Michael, we're going to go to you for...
You just knew. Okay. So I'm going to go in a different direction here a little bit from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But this is one of my favorite movies, period. And I think one of the great performances ever. And it's our second appearance by America's Dad, Tom Hanks. And that's the movie Big.
Oh, sweet. I was worried that wouldn't count as a kid's movie. I'm glad to see y'all thought it would. Okay.
Yeah, I almost picked that. Yeah.
It does a really great job, kind of also what you were saying, Vince, of like showing New York in like its wonder and splendor in a lot of ways. And one of the most iconic scenes ever with him and Robert Loggia doing the FAO Schwartz thing. I mean, FAO Schwartz closed this year. Yeah. And that was like a really big thing in New York, obviously. Everybody was kind of amazed that it was shutting down. And all I could think was like, I thought to myself repeatedly, would I have ever had any interest in FAO Schwartz had it not been for the movie Big? And
No.
I don't think I would have.
No, that piano scene is
I
super awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna like put this on my list, but now that FAO Schwartz is closed, Big no longer represents New York, so I disqualified it for that reason.
Oh, snap.
See, it represents New York for me, but like in the sad way when he's just like sitting in his first apartment with the neon lights and he's crying himself to sleep. I'm like, I never want to go to New York. That place looks awful.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Shea Serrano, one of our favorite authors from the Ringer website, actually recently did an article about how Big is actually a horror movie, and he's basically talking about how if you look at the movie from the perspective of Tom Hanks' mother in it, she has no idea what's going on. Her son has been kidnapped for a week. There's like the day after her son goes missing, a man comes in showing her that he's wearing her son's underwear, like, and saying, "Don't worry, he's not going to be harmed," because she doesn't know who she can't tell that Tom Hanks is her kid, and it's just like this woman freaking out with the police not doing anything, just praying every moment that her son will come back in the door. And then like he points out that when he eventually does, she'll never understand what happened to him. So she's going to spend the rest of her life thinking that he was kidnapped for a week.
Like actually a fucking long time. He was kidnapped for like 6 months at least, right?
Oh yeah, it's months. Because he becomes the head of a toy corporation at that time. He becomes
the head of a toy company.
So great.
That movie has problems.
Well, he's like 11 and bangs Elizabeth Perkins or something. Like
yeah. No, there are definitely problems with Big that if you really sit and examine it, you will find. But that being said, Tom Hanks got nominated for an Oscar for this movie, and he damn well deserved it. He was a 12-year-old kid.
Good for him.
I love Tom Hanks.
Anyway, so I choose Big.
Oh, very good. So it's to me now?
Yep.
I've still got a few that I can choose. And I think, I think I'm going to have to make this pick an honorary pick for Shay because it's not going to get my TV category. I'm going to choose Hey Arnold, the movie.
Whoa!
Yeah. Mostly because, you mentioned it at the beginning. My girlfriend Shay is born and raised in New York, from the Bronx, and seeing all this like New York media and stuff, it's often like, oh, whatever, it's just home, it's just another regular place. But for her, she always loves talking about Hey Arnold and how it was like really a great depiction of what it was like growing up as kids in New York City.
Was Shay a pencil head when she grew up? Football head?
No. No, but she definitely likes the Stoop Kids and the whole just like hanging out outside on the streets and stuff like that. Like it's just one of those things that as us, I believe we all grew up in the suburbs, so we had very different experiences playing around outside. So yeah, I'm gonna do her a solid, and I'm gonna choose Hey Arnold the movie because I'm not letting Hey Arnold have my TV category.
Isn't that coming back like with another film or something?
I think so. I know that Rocko's Modern Life is coming back with a special.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. The same creators and stuff. They're doing like a 1 hour special of how Rocko's life has changed in our new, more modern world.
Rocko's more modern life? Moderner life?
I guess. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say Rocko's Mormon life.
Rocko's Modern Life is a weird show.
It's an alternate.
Did y'all ever see the episode of Rocko where he became like he worked like on a sex line?
Yeah, that's like classics.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
There's a lot of animated shows from that time period that I look back on and go, man, people had no idea that you could be like censors just must not have understood that you could make adult jokes in animated form because every cartoon was still just written off as a kid's thing. Even though stuff like Rocko's Modern Life did a lot of weird things, Ren and Snippy, not a kid's cartoon at all.
Dude, I'm a fucking parent now, and I tune out whenever some of his shit comes on. Like, I don't know what he could be watching. Like, Bruce will take my phone and just like watch YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, he's watching like Pokemon or BattleBots or whatever. And then suddenly he'll be like, gorilla, gorilla. And then suddenly it's just like Harambe memes like all over his whatever he's watching.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh,
fuck.
okay. I need to start watching what my kid's watching. Okay. Like lesson learned. But like, like I turn on like, SpongeBob or something and then I just like check out. Like I'm kind of watching it with him, but I'm kind of also playing on Facebook. So they could be sneaking in SpongeBob jokes like right now, and I would not be paying attention. So I don't know if it's really a time thing or if it's just a tired parent thing. But Hey Arnold, I think is coming back because I think it like set up some plot line in the movie to like him to find his real parents, and I don't know if it came back for another season, and then it was supposed to go to another movie, and that just didn't come together or what. But I think that's finally
to find his real parents.
Yeah, I don't think he knows.
Arnold's an orphan?
Yeah, I think Hey Arnold is an orphan. Kia, is that accurate, or do you remember?
I don't know. I just picked it. I don't remember it.
I did watch a lot of it in Spanish to practice my Spanish on the Spanish station. It was called Oye Arnold. And I did.
Oh yeah, Arnold.
I did like that show. Kia, I think it's back to you though. Again for our TV show though.
Oh, cool. A TV show actually was maybe in my most difficult category because I'm more of a TV guy than a movie guy for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of good choices.
A lot of good choices, but again, I'm just going to go with a modern one because, again, it's sort of, now that I live in New York, this is maybe the first one that I've seen that I'm like, yes, this is what New York is like, and that is Broad City. Fucking love that show. It is
1
amazing.
and 2 and 3 and 4.
That's exactly how they sing it. And I love just everything about this show. Like any weird place they go to, I'm just like, yep, that fucking weird ass shit exists here in New York because it's New York. So yeah, Broad City, that's my choice. If you haven't seen it, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yes. I like Broad City. Kimberly loves Broad City. I haven't. I can't. I don't like it as much as she does, but I respect that it is a very good show and well made.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I like Broad City a lot. I've not seen the most recent season, mostly because I kept sitting down. My usual TV time comes from DVRing, and then I watch an episode of something when I run home in the middle of the day. I have weird hours for my job, so I'll run home in the middle of the day to like walk my dog and eat. And so every time I sat down, I was like, oh, I'll watch the premiere of Broad City. I would sit down and I would have like a bowl of food in front of me or a plate. And the first episode of the third season opens with them both shitting in their bathrooms.
Yeah,
and
that was a good one.
And every time it came up, I was like, I don't want to watch that while I'm eating.
Get over it.
That one's really funny.
I'm sure it is, but I kept changing because it was always when I was sitting down to eat. So I need to go back and watch the third season. I think it's all on my DVR still. So
they're not really shitting, if that helps.
Well, that helps a little bit.
Sometimes they're fucking on the toilet.
I came to the realization, I did not know this, but I work at a gym in New York, and I came to the realization that the one that Abby works at in Broad City is very much making fun of the place that I work. 100%.
Yeah, that's how you explained your job to me. You were like, you know the gym from Broad City? I'm like, yeah. And you go, yeah, that one. I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. Nailed it. Yeah.
I often see the actor that plays the personal trainer or Trey, is that his name? Yeah. Something like that. I often see him at my gym, and every time I do, I look at him and I'm like, I know what you're doing.
I gotta say, the other reason I picked that is because it does a perfect job of showing what a really annoying personal trainer friend in New York is like, because I've got one of those. But it does it accurately.
I see what you did there. Comedy Central does a pretty good job of putting their shows on Hulu, though, like just a few weeks after they air. So you guys can catch up on Broad City if you have Hulu or on demand, maybe. I don't know. But
a good plug for Hulu. They need it.
Yep. Yep, they do. And Michael, I think it's to you now for your TV show.
Speaking of things that need plugs because they don't get talked about enough, this is boring, but I'm going to go with Seinfeld. It's just...
That's also on Hulu.
It's just my all-time favorite, and it's so funny. I didn't even
think of Seinfeld. Holy shit. All right, yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, original and hilarious, and was along with The Simpsons, like the show that I think shaped my humor the most as I was growing up and wanted to watch, would get home and watch TV every night, like after school. And so Seinfeld, if you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out because it's really fucking good.
It is still really good. It's really nice to be on Hulu and to just like cherry pick your favorite episodes and stuff. But I feel like I just need to sit down and just like watch it like straight through.
Well, and I think that because of the way the humor works on that show, a nice thing about it, because a lot of those shows from like the mid '90s and stuff like that, they feel so dated now because of the difference in technology and stuff. But Seinfeld kind of manages to gloss over all of that, which is really great because it's just about people walking into conversations at random moments so much.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes it hold up really well. Because sometimes I'm really worried about like those classic shows not holding up as well. But I mean, obviously, again, Seinfeld doesn't need me to sit here and blow steam up its ass. It knows it's fucking great.
Yeah. So
Vince?
My final pick for TV shows is gonna be Friends, because I think that Friends. It's got some problematic. A lot of its humor comes from gay panic, but I think that Friends is probably one of the best serialized, done-in-one structured shows I can think of. That Friends always has like a forward-moving plot line or something like interesting happening, and its characters are like changing their status quos from season to season. So you can kind of like, I can pick up any episode and be like, oh, okay, this is when Chandler and Monica were dating but hiding it. Or, this is when such and such was happening. And this is when they were living in this apartment instead of this apartment. And so they've got like a really good like serialized structure throughout the like 10 seasons or whatever it's on. But then like every episode is really self-contained. And like a lot of sitcoms today, they could either do like really good done-in-ones, or they could do really good serialization, but not with like a satisfying single episode to episode. And I think Friends does that probably better than any other sitcom. And so I think that that's a really admirable show for that. Well, and I don't think it's as like maudlin as like How I Met Your Mother gets, which is also another New York show that I really enjoyed, and then it just kind of shat the bed in its final episode, and now I will never go back to it. But that's another story for another time. So I'm picking Friends. I really enjoyed that show, and I could still pick that up and watch it whenever it's on, whenever I'm watching syndicated TV.
I remember there definitely became this whole movement against Friends, and I don't really, and I remember being a part of it, and I don't really know why, because I definitely watched it when it was on. And then a few years ago, whenever they put it on Netflix again, when they like uploaded everything, and my ex-girlfriend was a really big Friends fan, and so she was like immediately in heaven and was watching the show. And I found myself every time I like walked through the living room, sitting down and watching the rest of the episode. And I got to be honest, really enjoying it. It's a funny show. And the cast is really good, and they really just kind of nailed it.
I think it's kind of, I get it's fine, but for a New York episode, man, like that's such a non-New York sitcom though. Like it doesn't do a good job of representing New York at all. And so with this being the New York episode, I feel like I have to say that.
Yeah. How many black people were on that show? I think 2.
Like 1 in 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way they afforded those apartments.
A whole lot better than that,
No.
But at least, I mean, there is something that does feel a little bit more New York about Seinfeld than Friends.
Yeah, but I mean,
absolutely.
But like Broad City does a really good job of feeling like really specific about New York.
Oh yeah.
And even going back to like Hey Arnold, like the experience of like kids growing up in New York, like, or in a city like that, like, Recess would have been a good pick for that, because Recess also takes place in New York City in the public school system.
Never watched Recess.
I really enjoyed Recess. I really liked Recess. Yeah, but there aren't that many like depictions of like what it's like to be a kid in a city, or just like, Broad City really gets its like humor from like odd specificity and like really going through all like different aspects of New York in a way that I guess Friends and Seinfeld didn't. But Seinfeld's a fucking funny show, and Friends is
Seinfeld's still amazing, and Friends was also a show.
Friends is a solid show if you're just like flipping channels and like it's
yeah,
9:30
it's not
and you're
for
at the
me.
beach.
I cannot watch a laugh track sitcom ever again. Like it's just impossible for me. So
I can see that.
yeah, sorry, Friends. You're not on my list.
You're not there for you.
Nope.
All right. So it's to me for the final pick. It's the wild card, and I'm gonna pick a movie that I have never seen, but I feel like I should see. And that's the Warriors.
Oh, I had that on my list too. Yeah.
Shit, son.
That's a great movie.
Is it a great movie?
Yeah, man, it's fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes from like Coney Island up to the Bronx, man. You get the whole island. Not the whole 5 boroughs, but probably like the biggest swath in any of the other movies we've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, you go as south to north as you can in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've just always wanted to see it, and I hear its PlayStation 2 video game is like really fucking good. It's from the makers of like Grand Theft Auto, and
that's why you just like video games.
I really want to play the Warriors video game, but I feel like I should see the Warriors movie before I play the Warriors.
You should definitely see the Warriors movie first.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah, it's totally awesome.
Good stuff.
And then now I guess it's to you,
I don't
Michael.
want to say anything about it though because you haven't seen it. So
no.
Yeah.
Michael, it's to you then.
Okay. So I know I said that I chose movies that were like all in New York as opposed to like ending up in New York or something like that. I'm going to break that rule a little bit. But that being said, this movie is still so centered on New York that I don't think it matters. And that is probably what I consider to be one of the most exhilarating movies I've ever seen in my life. And that's Man on Wire, the documentary.
Oh, fuck. That's a great documentary.
My pick is related to that, but continue.
I had heard forever about seeing this movie, and I just never saw it. And then one day, I was in grad school, and I had an afternoon free or something like that on a Saturday, and I put Man on Wire on like Netflix, and one of my like roommates walked through or something like that. Was like, "How is it?" And I was like, "I am breathless. I was on the edge of my seat the whole movie." Have you guys seen Man on Wire?
Yeah, Man on Wire is the one. It's the documentary about the man who walked on a high wire between the Twin Towers. There was a fictionalized movie of it with Joseph Gordon-Levitt about a year or so ago.
And my take on the fictionalized movie, I didn't go see the fictionalized movie. I don't really know why they made it because Man on Wire is again the most like exhilarating and like breathless movie, one of the most I've ever seen in my life. Like there's no need to fictionalize anything about it. It's so fucking crazy the way that they did it, how he did it. If people have not seen this movie, it is absolutely worth your time in terms of just like seeing some people pull some crazy shit off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was in my phase where I would just buy DVDs like sight unseen. And I totally bought Man on Wire like the day it came out. I think I bought it like the same day Moon came out on DVD too. But I remember watching Man on Wire. I was like, this is fucking great. Like it's such a great like poster cover of just like a wide shot of him walking in between the two towers. Like it's just such a striking image.
I mean everything about that movie from like the production design and that, and even what you're saying, like the advertisements and that kind of stuff. That everything falls in place. The dude's a total dick, but it's incredible to see. It's incredible to see what it does to the whole team and the relationships. I mean, it's just an incredible film about this like microcosm of this like one group of people's life.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would like to see it at some point. Can I jump right into my pick because it connects so directly to your pick, Michael? So I maybe did the wild card category wrong, but I did not choose a movie or a TV show. I chose a book. It's a novel called Let the Great World Spin. One of my favorite sort of New York books.
Is that Colin McCann?
Yeah, Colin McCann. It's kind of like a collection of short stories, but not really. It sort of like weaves in and out of a bunch of different people's lives. And one of them is this tightrope walker, and it kind of like connects everybody with this one particular moment and then the guy's trial. It is kind of a fictionalized version, but it also goes around to so many different parts of the city and different parts of society, and one of my favorite books in general, but also a really great New York City book. So for my wild card, I had to pick that. Let the Great World Spin. Love that book.
Cool.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as long I don't know anything about it. But as long as we're talking about like wild cards and other mediums, I was gonna put out Midnight Club for PS2, Michael.
Oh, don't you be talking to me about Midnight Club. I'll still beat your ass at that game right
Yeah,
now.
I know you will. I could not figure out those course layouts except for New York City because I knew New York City and it was reasonably accurate. That was the only one I could like navigate with any certainty.
That is absolutely just one of those games that for some reason I could just play. Don't know why.
You were like a
I was
Rain
just
Man
amazed.
savant with that. Like you just
I
like,
really was. I don't know what it was, but I just owned that game.
but yeah, that's whenever I think about New York City, I always think about like, yeah, I'll go down this street and then I'll do that. And I always think about Midnight Club, which is probably the first podcast to mention Midnight Club this year, I would say.
I did legit like somehow I used directions in Paris once that I remembered from the layout of Midnight Club.
Wow.
Like I knew how to get to this like church on this hill because of like I recognized the landmark from where I was from playing that game so much.
That's crazy.
Wow. Jeez.
So did
Which
you guys?
is really impressive for PS2.
Yeah, it was. It was a PS2 launch game too, I think, or close to.
Yeah. I got it when I got my system. Anyway.
Did you guys have anything else on your list that you wanted to mention? I know I wanted to mention Die Hard with a Vengeance because Sam said it was.
Yeah, I figured somebody would mention the Die Hards for sure.
Sam, well, it's funny because he's a New York cop, but the first two movies don't take place in New York. And in fact, Die Hard 3 is the only one that takes place in New York. The rest of them take place in like Washington, D.C. or L.A. or I think Russia is where the fifth one takes place. But me, one of my podcasts that I always listen to talks about this JVC Super HD VHS that they were trying to pump as a new medium in like 94. So they filmed like New York City around like 94 in like Super HD. And so it's really interesting. You can check it out on YouTube. But Sam like looked at it and he just like seemed very unimpressed by it. He goes, yeah, it just looks like Die Hard 3. And so I'm like, you're right, Sam. Like, I don't need this podcast that I always listen to that talked about this video being incredible. I'm like, just go watch Die Hard 3 instead. So I really like that one. And then the movie I haven't seen that was also on my list was Escape from New York.
Oh, fuck yeah. Kurt Russell?
Yeah, Kurt Russell. John Carpenter, like at the top of his game. It's October, by the way, guys. You can watch Halloween now. So go watch
I
that.
actually read an article recently about how when they made Escape from New York, that was the first character that Kurt Russell played where there's just like nothing redeemable about the character.
Mm-hmm.
Because you said you've not seen this?
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it. This is not a spoiler, but most movies like this where the guy just goes on a rampage, it's like, oh, they killed his wife or his family or like, his dog, whatnot. That creates this whole like, well, the man's got a mission, right? Like he's got, it's like Unforgiven, like he's got to follow out the last bit, before he goes, whatever. But in Escape from New York, that's just not the case. And the studio execs at one point were like, why are we going to let you guys make this movie with a totally unlikable character? There's nothing redeemable about him. And they kept saying that. And finally, Kurt Russell in the room was like, look, people are going to like him, or people are going to like the character because I'm playing him.
Oh, cool.
And they were right. He was right.
I really need to go on like a string of like my John Carpenter, Kurt Russell movies. Like I need to see The Thing and Escape from New York.
Oh, that's a good one.
And Big Trouble in Little China, I think, is also John Carpenter. I just know that that's like a missing portion of my film like experience. I need to watch all three of those movies.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be right up your alley too.
Yeah, I know.
Especially Big Trouble.
Yeah.
I'll do a couple of shout outs here. Something I almost put in romantic movies, which is Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah. Romantic movies?
Because he does it all for Chris Sarandon.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Dog Day Afternoon being my personal favorite Pacino performance ever is just incredible in terms of, John Cazale's in it. He's one of his like 5 movies he was in that were all nominated for Best Picture. It is just a complete portrait of a man exasperated. I love it. It's so fucking great.
That's a Sidney Lumet joint also.
It is, yeah. And then I'm also, for the kids' movies, I'm a massive fan of Elf.
Yes.
Oh.
I think Elf is really great. And it made me think, I didn't pick it because it also made me think we could have just done, you could do a holiday movie category for New York because like New York is so iconic at the holidays that so often that's just what what movies do.
Right.
I think a lot of the movies we mentioned probably are like You've Got Mail is.
Serendipity does.
Home Alone 2.
Yeah.
Wait, did any of us actually mention Home Alone 2?
No, we didn't.
I was going to throw that out for the honorable mentions. Yeah, Home Alone 2 for sure. Also, Enchanted, I really like to go under the romance.
Why was Enchanted?
Or the
That's
kids category.
I made this episode to talk about Enchanted and then completely forgot about Enchanted. I love it. I love.
Well, I brought
Enchanted.
it up for you, Vince.
I love Enchanted.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
It's a movie. They're making a sequel finally called Disenchanted.
Oh. Ooh.
Hopefully, Idina Menzel will finally get to sing in this one. So, but I'll let that go. I'm excited.
My other honorable mention, Luke Cage. I know it just came out, but holy shit, watch it, y'all. New York City. It's the best of all of Marvel's Netflix shows so far. So
really?
Get on it. Get on it. Oh, 100%. It is 100% the best one yet.
Really? Awesome. I should check that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Really good.
Well, you know what they say in Spider-Man, you mess with New York City, you mess with us, or something like that. It's a bad that's a bad outro. That's a bad outro. Anyways, yeah, it's a bad outro. Bad outro. That's my New York accent. Bad outro. No, that's terrible. Thank you guys so much for talking about New York movies with me. New York City. Maybe we'll do this again sometimes, but probably not because we are in the march to the end of All My Friends Are Right Here with only 4 more episodes left, unless we come up with another concept we really want to do. There's 4 more episodes. This may have been the last movie draft we do. So thank you so much, Kia and Michael, for participating on this.
Thank you. Thank you, Vince.
Did we need to pick a winner for this movie draft?
No, it was me.
Okay, it was Kia. Yeah, I would definitely say Coming to America, Birdman, The Professional, Hey Arnold, the movie, Broad City, and Let the Great World Spin is better than Michael's Serendipity, Goodfellas, French Connection, Big, Seinfeld, and Man on Wire. Ooh, I don't know about that. Or possibly better than my You've Got Mail, Vanilla Sky, Men in Black, Ninja Turtles 1, Friends, and The Warriors. So
these are so representative of us.
Yeah, they are. So
really clear dividing line on these lists.
So please do go to allmyfriendsarerighthere.com or facebook.com/allmyfriendsarerighthere and tell us what your favorite New York movies are. But until next time, I was Vince, and thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kia.
Hey, forget about it.
I love y'all so much. I love you guys so much. And we'll see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.